Hi, this is Michael from Neatline Antique Maps, and today we're looking at a lithographed map created around 1868, just after the so-called outside lands were turned over to San Francisco following years of legal disputes. So, just to review, we have the original city centered on Portsmouth Square. We have the O'Farrell survey and the Eddy map that we covered in another video, with the first city charter of 1850 and the western limit at Larkin Street. We have then the reincorporation of the city and the extension of its urban limits to Divisadero by 1852. Now, technically everything outside of this is the outside lands, including this area in the southeast near Potrero Hill, in yellow down there. But when we think of the outside lands, of course, we think of the west side. And in fact, Divisadero Street gets its name being the division between the old city and the outside lands. From 1852 to 1866, this area was the focus of intense legal battles fought in parallel. We have a fight over whether the land belongs to the city of San Francisco or the U.S. government, and we have one over individual ownership of plots at the private level. And a big issue, a big part of these issue for both of these battles was that the land was ceded by Mexico as part of the settlement of the Mexican-American War, not to California, but to the United States. Now, 19th century maps of San Francisco are often a reflection of future urban planning rather than reality. And you'll see on our map that the west side is already depicted with this familiar street grid pattern that we know today, and a large park. And this is even though very few buildings or streets actually corresponded to the grid at this time. And it wasn't until 1870 that the state legislature officially set the boundaries and proclaimed the inception of Golden Gate Park. A better reflection of the situation on the ground is seen in this map from a few years prior, where basically you have a giant mess with squatters who were often paid by wealthy San Franciscans to claim land, and this sort of jumble of competing claims. Now, for the fascinating legal story here and the outsized role played by one justice, I definitely recommend a great article by Arnold Woods in the Western Neighborhoods Project newsletter. But for our purposes, we'll jump right to the Outside Lands Act of 1866, which confirmed an earlier ruling that this land was part of San Francisco, not federal land, and that it should be held in a public trust for persons with valid ownership claims. And this act is really what allows San Francisco to begin a pivot towards the 20th century, and is the background for our map and San Francisco Order number 800, which is listed on this map, in which the Board of Supervisors decided on some of the legal implications of the Outside Lands Act. I'll just mention, not coincidentally, each of these board members also has a street named after them. So there you go, a quick look at the historical background which made this such an important map. Thanks for listening.